And I would have ended up being a forward observer, and probably a good chance I would have gone back. But I had a guardian angel. I didn't know it, but I had a gunnery sergeant who ended up being a second lieutenant. And when I checked in at Cherry Point Air Station in 1968, after doing all the training as an officer, he was a captain, Captain Moan, officer of the day on a Sunday. And he asked me where I wanted to go. And I said, what do you mean? He said, well, I got all these schools. And one of them was the JAG school, Judge Advocate General School. And it was in Rhode Island. And I said, well, I've never been to Rhode Island. And on Monday, I was checking in at JAG school in Rhode Island, along with 99 other guys who were all captains and actually were college graduate and real life lawyers. They'd done law school in the whole 9 yards. And,
now, so let's back up. So people who were lucky enough to watch JAG on TV, the actual TV show that was all about Navy and Marine Corps officers who were JAG. So when you went to JAG school, what did you learn at JAG school?
Well, it was all about Article 32, UCMJ, Uniform Code of Military Justice. And I already knew some of it, right?
Right, because you've been through it.
Well, all the enlisted people got trained on it, and so on and so forth. So anyway, those guys were more like wanting to drink a lot and do that. And I decided not to drink for a while and just kind of work at it and see what happened, because I liked it, actually. And I ended up getting the highest cumulative score. And I was the class honor man and really pissed those guys all off, because they're real life lawyers, right? And I'm just a wannabe at that point. And anyway, long story short, I went back to Cherry Point. They made me a legal officer, and I defended a couple of guys. One of them was for sleeping on watch, which in the Marine Corps is a death sentence. 2 years Leavenworth and a dishonorable discharge.
Wow.
Pretty much automatic. But I called a witness, and the jury in the military system is not your peers. The jurors are, it was a colonel, a major, a captain, and totally ticked off the prosecutor. They acquitted him. And then I had another defense case that I did and got another acquittal. So then they made me a prosecutor.
They had to put you on the other side because you were too good.
Well, this happens all the time, actually, even in the civilian world.
Rand, let's back up a second. So when did you go to law school?
After I got out of the military.
So you were an attorney and so most JAG people are attorneys, right?
Yeah, I wasn't an attorney, but I was doing an attorney's job.
Yeah, I was in physical therapy. I wasn't a physical therapist, but I was doing physical therapist job. I understand that. We're in the Navy. I was in the Navy. So it's in the military, you do jobs that you couldn't do on the outside.
Well, especially in wartime, and when they're trying to build up. Marine Corps standard level of manpower is 200,000. Marine Corps went from 200,000 to 1 million by 1970, around there.
Wow.
So if you could do a job, they will give you a shot at it. So, and
right. So how now you said you ran for 5 years. This all happened in 5 years?
Yeah, and actually I got out in 4. They sent me down.
Didn't you have any time to do anything? I mean, most people, that sounds like that was a whole lifetime that you just went through. For most
Pretty
people.
much, yeah, it was. It was amazing. But I managed to get into Syracuse in January of 1970, and I got my BA in 3 years, and I got my law degree, and away I went.
Wow! And then you were attorney. You retired as an attorney.
Right. I was a self-employed attorney for 40 years.